What's going on, y'all? This is Kyle Nicholson with Clardy Real Estate, and today we're going to talk about the home buying process from start to finish. So whether you're a first-time buyer or you just need a little refresher, this one's for you. We're going to talk about milestones, common mistakes, and potential hiccups that you might encounter throughout the home buying process. So if any of this is on your radar for the near future, listen up. All right. Step one is talk to a lender and get pre-approved. I know you want to jump straight into house hunting because that is truly the fun part. But trust me when I say this is a foundational part of the home buying process is to get that pre-approval in hand before you go shopping. And here's why. First point is it lets you know how much home that you can afford. Step two is it lets sellers know that you are really serious when you have that pre-approval. And the third thing, it helps your agent, me, know how to exactly tailor the home search for your budget. Some common myths as far as the pre-approval is that you have to have a huge amount of cash set aside to close, or that you have to have perfect credit. That is just simply not the case. That is why we recommend talking to a trusted local lender that can just look at your scenario, look at what's going on with you, and they can figure out a loan program that is just going to make the most sense for your situation. All right, step two is to find your agent. Now that you've got your pre-approval and know your numbers, it's time to find a good buyer's agent that's going to go out there and work hard for you and not for the seller. So what does a good buyer's agent do? They help you narrow down all the homes for sale in your area and find one that seems like a good fit for you. They're going to set up private showings for you to come and view the home and take a look to see, are these just really good pictures online, or is this house somewhere I can really call home? And third thing, they're going to negotiate on your behalf. The fourth thing, they're going to advise you on pricing. They're going to advise you on potential red flags and things that they might see that you might not be able to see because you just love the curb appeal, or you just love that awesome master bedroom with the walk-in shower. So some common myths are, I've got all my money set aside for my down payment. How in the world am I going to pay you to be my buyer's agent? So in most cases, buyer's agents seek compensation from the sellers of the house. That's a conversation that we have with them before we ever step foot in the house, and we ask the seller's agent if they are offering any sort of compensation. That way, you and I can go home shopping and you don't have to worry about this extra chunk of change. You can have that set aside for your down payment, or some new furniture, or for some other awesome cool things as soon as you move into your house. Step three, we're gonna start house hunting. This is where the fun begins. This is where we go shopping. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make a list of our must-haves and our nice-to-haves, and that is really gonna help narrow down our search. Second part to this is to be open-minded. No home is perfect. There are going to be things that you absolutely love. There are going to be things that you like, and there are things that you're like, okay, I can tolerate, maybe I can fix it with time. So the key is to be open-minded as you are viewing homes. The third thing is think long-term. Whether you're going to be here for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, sometimes you just don't know. You may think a place is your forever home, but it's only somewhere that you're stopping off for a few years. But think long term and think about how this might fit your family as time goes on. The common hurdle in this step is sometimes a house that you absolutely love online as you're cruising Zillow in the evening, you do not like at all when you get there in person. That's okay. It's a process. And honestly, it's way better for me as your agent to know what you don't like than what you do like, because there may be some things that you just think that you absolutely love, but once you get inside the house and see it in person, you're like, I've changed my mind. I don't want a garden tub. I would much rather to have a walk-in shower. These are all things that we can talk about as we start narrowing down our search for you here in step three. Step four, make an offer. All right, you found the one. We were house hunting and this was the one you could not stop thinking about. It's time to make an offer. And I get it. It's scary. So many unknowns. What happens next? That's where a good buyer's agent comes in and will walk alongside you through the entire process. From the offer price to contingencies as far as financing, inspection, home sale if you already have a house and need to sell that first. All these things I'm going to walk along beside you. Earnest money, how much, how does that work, and also the timeline to close. So a common myth is some people think that they need to start low on their offer to leave room to negotiate. And that's where a good buyer's agent that's on your side is going to help you, because depending on what's going on right now in the market will truly determine where your offer needs to be. Maybe the sellers have overinflated the price and you can start lower, or maybe it's super competitive and you're going to need to come in right at list, and in some cases over, just depending on what's driving that decision. So whatever it may be, rely on your buyer's agent to guide you through that. Step 5. Under contract. You put in that offer, the sellers liked it, they accepted, boom, you're under contract. So here's what happens now. The first thing is the home inspection. This is going to happen during that due diligence period that we have from once the contract is accepted, and normally that's going to be a couple week window. The home inspector is going to come out, they're going to check out the house from top to bottom to make sure there aren't any issues that you need to be aware of as you're headed through the home buying process. The second thing is to negotiate any repairs. If there's any major things that are wrong with the house, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sellers and we're going to ask them nicely if we can negotiate some of these repairs. Lots of folks have open minds about this, but this goes back to the last step. We're just going to have an open mind and try to negotiate some of these repairs. The third thing is, if you're working with a lender, is they're going to order an appraisal. And so this is going to be one of the last hurdles. We just want to make sure that the house appraises for what the contract price is. So a common hurdle during this phase when you're under contract is that the inspection might feel overwhelming, and I get that. The inspection comes back and it's like 40 pages long, but that's where, as your buyer's agent, I comb through that thing and I can show you any red flags. But it's also good to know whether you're looking at a new construction house or you're looking at a sturdy brick ranch from the 60s that was built like a tank. These two are not the same. So there might be some things in that new construction that you're not going to see in the house from the 60s, but that's where your agent is going to come in and let you know, truly, is this something we need to worry about, or is this something that we can just be totally fine and live with? Step 6 is closing day. You made it through the inspection, you made it through negotiating repairs, and the appraisal checked out fine. It's closing time. Cue Semisonic. Closing time. So what happens now is the final walkthrough. Lots of times you're going to do that the night before closing, or sometimes the day of. You and your buyer's agent are going to walk through and make sure that any of the repairs that you negotiated or anything that was previously agreed upon to stay with the property is still there, from that awesome Japanese maple out front to the refrigerator in the kitchen. You're going to check that out. Next, you're going to head to the closing attorney's office. The sellers and their agent will be there, and as your buyer's agent, I will be there with you the whole time. The attorneys will go through everything top to bottom, and you're going to sign a big stack of paperwork. And then last but not least, the keys. They're going to hand you the keys, and you are the proud new owner of your home. Pro tip, make sure you bring that photo ID to closing, because that's the first thing that they're going to ask for, just in case someone else is trying to buy the home on your behalf. They want to make sure it is you and only you. And also come with an open mind. Some closings are just open and shut and take no time at all. Sometimes the lender takes a little bit more time to wire in the funds. That's okay. Just soak it in. At the end of the day, you're going to be the proud new owners of this home. All right, before we wrap up, let's just bust a few more common myths about the home buying process that have been floating around out there. One of the common ones we hear all the time is, I would love to buy, but I just don't have a 20% down payment. That's okay. Almost no one does these days. That's why in the first step, when I was talking about the pre-approval, it is so important to sit down with a good local lender, because whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you bought before, they will look at your unique situation and tell you what type of loan program works best for you. So whether it is 20% and you have those funds available, or whether it's a much smaller down payment because you're a first-time home buyer, there's going to be something out there that works for you. Another myth when you're going through the home buying process is that Zillow knows everything. I get it. All of us look through Zillow all the time. You see that Zestimate down there. Sometimes it's lower than what the house that you're really interested in is listed for. Sometimes it's much higher. Zillow does not know everything. That's why having a good local buyer's agent on your side is absolutely crucial, because we can help you weed out what information is good, what information is not so good, and help you make an informed decision, especially when it comes to making an offer on a home that you really love. So if you're thinking about buying a home here in Oconee County or the surrounding areas, or if you just have questions about the home buying process, I would love to talk with you. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel a little scary, whether you are doing it for the very first time or whether you've bought and sold multiple times. Things change quickly. So my job is to break it down, make it transparent, make it simple. And so if you are thinking about buying, I would love to chat with you.